right, welcome back, Hog Nation. We're here with Superintendent Brenda Sanford talking about some things going on here in the school district. Today we're going to talk about the second middle school, the design that was already purchased by the school district, and the location of it over off Westmoreland Road. So talk a little bit about the process to acquire the design. How did that come about?
One of the things that the people actually wanted, the voters wanted, was to see what they were actually going to be voting on in a bond election. So we were very intentional about that. We had a committee that was formed, and we toured many different middle schools, and they were all kinds of different layouts, and just to kind of get an idea of what is actually available out there and what would meet the needs of our students. We also met with just practically every organization. We did the different core subjects. We did fine arts. We did technology. Food, nutrition. We met with everyone that would have some input about the design of the building. What are the needs of our specific students as well? And so once we came together and had all that together, we formed community meetings as well. And we did those at every one of the elementary schools. And we had our community come out and give us the input on different things: entryway, lighting, the commons, learning commons areas, just different design things. And so then we came out with what we felt like was the representative of what we needed at Red Oak and what our community and our staff actually thought would be best for the second middle school, and came out with a wonderful design on that.
And that included not only what the school itself would look like, but really the blueprint for the entire lot.
It showed basically that where the school would be sitting, how the traffic would come off of the road into the district parking lots, how much parking we would have, the facilities as far as we'd have the tennis courts and the practice field in the back, things like that. It was the entire schematic design. So, and it all fit on there just perfectly, and it met the needs of many things that were brought to our attention. Outdoor learning, but safety. Safety was a main feature we were always looking at. Different drop-off locations so that the buses would have one avenue while the drop-off, the car riders would have another, even for special needs drop-offs for them as well.
Since you mentioned the roads and travel, talk a little bit about some of the rumors that we heard on the last bond. One of them was that Ovilla residents would be responsible for all the road upgrades.
Combating the rumors was a big chore this last time. We actually will be taking care of the road frontage on ours. We'll take care of the widening of the turn lanes, that we have to have those for our buses and for our cars to get in there. And so that is a responsibility that the district would foot. As far as the full entire road needing to be redone and the taxpayers would be having to foot that bill, that's simply not true. We have many roadways that are traveled every day by our school buses that are narrower than that, and they're not as in good a shape as Westmoreland is. So that is simply not true as well. And it wouldn't be backed up traffic all along the road like people were saying. We did have our architect to draw the design where we could get approximately 300 cars off of the roadway, and also all the buses would be queued as well.
We hope our residents and our taxpayers there in Ovilla are looking at some of the other things that are coming forward. We've looked at all 664 actually being widened all the way from 287 all the way around through Ovilla.
Right.
That would actually help out with some of the traffic on that. But Westmoreland itself, we would be widening so that there would be turn lanes and access.
We would take care of that.
For all of the buses and cars should be getting onto the lot. That way they would be staging there, not on the street.
That's correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
One of the other rumors we heard was a little bit about it being a split lot. It is a little bit of that.
Yes.
While the lot's actually in Ovilla, the utilities will be coming from Glen Heights.
That is correct. That is correct. We would be using some of the access from the surrounding neighborhoods that are going up, subdivisions that are going up, and that would be Glen Heights utilities.
So we'd be tying the water, sewer, and that sort of thing through them. These are conversations we've already had with these cities.
Absolutely.
Both cities actually are aware of this. One of the last rumors that we heard was, we're not building just a middle school there. We're going to do other things, or we're going to bait and switch with the bond.
Never been a conversation. We were told that that was handed out on flyers that, oh, is this their way of building a new stadium? That was never, ever even in the back of anyone's minds. A Goodloe Stadium, we intend to keep where Goodloe Stadium is, so no, we did not intend to do anything like that. Is it a larger parcel of land? Absolutely. You want to get your hands on as much land as you can. What could it be used for in the future? That's going to be future talks.
The district has a design now, a schematic design, a lot layout, if you will. What are the next steps if we were to call another bond, or even if we don't for a while? Where does that design go?
We actually, as a school district, own that design that we bought from our architect of record. So going forward, that design could be used. We would not have to pay for that again. That is the property of Red Oak ISD. The need for the second middle school is not going to go away. It's not going to go away. So it is important that we own our own design because in the future, that has to be built. We're going to have a bond pass where we can service our students. The core sampling, again, once we do that, that's done. Preparation, that's one of the things that some of the no group had said, well, you're not prepared. Well, these are things that we're getting prepared for. We're looking at the utilities, we're looking at the core sample, we have our design. So all of those things, regardless of going this May, next May, whenever, those are things that we're not just wasting money on. We're going to be able to use that in the bond process.
The timeline get changed every year? That we miss a window?
Yes, they normally would like 2 years, 24 months to 24 to 30 months in order to actually complete school. Pushing it 19 to 24, and that's if everything falls into place. Mm-hmm. So this May of 2023, close the window. That would be the last time we could actually pass a bond and open in the August 2025 school year. So yes, it would push now to August 2026 if you go for a bond after the May 23 election. Always have to look at that because in the meantime, as you said, we are going to be seeing an increase in students. So in the meantime, what are we going to be doing? Again, looking at those things I talked about, looking at more portables, looking at renting, possibly empty schools at other districts that are surrounding us that we could take our students to, leasing different avenues and trying to shuffle around different grade levels. None of it is pretty. It's all just short-term Band-Aids because in the long term, the only true option and the only way to service our students is to build a second middle school.
All right. Thank you very much for your input today.
Thank you.